memories from last Shabbat. Can you hear me okay back there, Mark?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's perfect. I don't want to be up here when we're live. Rabbi's opening.
We're about live. Here we go. We're on now.
Welcome to located at Hitsville, USA in Detroit. Welcome. So happy you're joining us from Congregation Shalom in Bermuda. Or you're from Ventura, or you just happen to be joining us via our live stream. Welcome. Chag Purim, happy Purim. And if you are here in our country, it's great to see you. Start it off. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. As it was started in 1970, a lot of you probably remember. I just want to acknowledge that we are in the midst of war, and as Edwin said, it is absolute. What is good for? Absolutely nothing. But we want to acknowledge the plight of the Ukrainians while we're celebrating. We're hoping that there will be a miraculous deliverance as well from them. President Zelensky finds himself in an analogous, not perfectly analogous situation to Esther, where suddenly thrust upon him and his people, Esther's people, President Zelensky's people, a situation that they didn't and suddenly where their existence is precarious, but we hope that not only is he showing the courage and wisdom and the right kind of temperament to handle the situation, we also hope there's a sense of divine providence in bringing deliverance and respite and freedom from the Risha, sort of pronounced differently, sounds like Russia, result, and that there will be a way to go into our Iranian brothers and sisters, not just sisters, all of them that are part of our human family. We're going to now begin, and I think that a crown is the order. So you are in a serious mode. We will be doing the from items into the chat. One of them will be a version of if you're in there, you have that. If you're watching live with the Hebrew, then you should be clicking on that link when it comes into chat. The second thing into the chat will be a Ventura poem for Friday. The service transliterated all the portions that we're doing publicly, as well as the songs that will be seen for Purim. So you'll want to have one of the PDF of that and then find a very over 100 Motown memories of some of my favorite Motown songs. Told that there was a proclamation put forth by royal court that if you do not know half of the artists and don't know half these songs, you will not be part of any hearing tonight, my friends. That is just the way it is. I apologize in advance for any hurt or annoyance that may cause. But let's, we already have the musical where you brush up on your Shakespeare. It is time to master the Motown. Okay, so hopefully you will have it tonight. They will be the original Motown melody. When I'm talking Motown, I'm thinking of Mordecai's Motown from those days where I lived in Michigan. In any event, if you are watching via our YouTube and you want to type in the name of the song, if you think you know it, you're welcome to do that. you want to type in the name of the artist, sometimes there's actually more than one artist. You can then argue who is the best version of the song. Was it the Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, or was it the Gladys Knight version through the grapevine? It is really the better version. And then we're going to begin our top load with that. And if you can open your C door to page 137. If you are in the you're right where we should be on page 1. And if you can do something, I invite you to the eyes. Vehu rachum vechachber avon velo yashchid vehir bala hashiv ahapo velo ya'ir kol chamato Adonai Hoshia hamelech yanenu v'yom ha'enu baruchu. It's a baruchu et Adonai. Et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'alam Va'ed. You may be seated. Sounds like the same old song, but with a different meaning since Purim's come on. Okay, we are going to continue our tefillot.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד מעריב מעריב ערבים מעריב ברוך אתה אדוני מעריב ערבים.
Talking about Amen.
You gave us your Torah, your commandments and laws. We're so glad you want us around. And now we're here to let you know that we have really got them down. Ki em chayenu, orech yameinu, uvahem negeh, yomam v'layla.
Watch me now.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, אהבת עולם. ברוך אתה Adonai אוהב עמו,
אוהב עמו,
ישראל אוהב עמו,
אוהב עמו. Amen. We continue on page 138 with the Shema, bottom of page 1 of the handout. Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Da 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 dum, ya da 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 dum, ya da 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 dum, ya da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlatecha vaderech uvashapecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot ayadecha vayulatotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mizuzota beitecha uvisharecha visharecha vayam shemoti shemotzutai shemotzutai the man you put your company. Oh yes, wait a minute, Monty's Karoo. Whoa, 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 Masitem. Et kol mitzvotai vitem doshim lo lechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Masher hotzeti etchem me'etz me'rayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Oh yes, oh wait just a minute. Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. We continue our davening. Bottom of 139, Micha Mocha.
Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef b'lev, Malchutcha u'banecha. Okay, HaYam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu v'Yamru, ze Elianu v'Yamru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כיפדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל Israel.
And less amen. Page 140, we continue with Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu na Eloheinu l'shalom b'amidenu, malkeinu l'chayim. First one. Ki al shomatzi leinu ata, it's all right. Ki al melech hanun v'rachum ata, you're out of sight. Ushorte teinu voenu, a fiddly dee, a fiddly dum. Ki al melech hanun v'rachum ata, ushmorte teinu uva oenu l'chayim. U'lishalom me'atavi adolam baruch atah Adonai shomer. Get ready. I'm now Yisrael. Time to get ready. Liad. Amen. We continue our tefillot. Baruch Adonai le'amen v'amen v'amen. Page 140. Yichvarnai lelam, yismachnai masav. Yakolam veplu apanehem. L'jor v'adornas apel l'titacha, brochnai b'yom, brochnai b'layla, brochnai b'shafvenu, brochnai b'kumenu. Umlokalena lamba jir e'enenu v'yismachli benu v'takel shem. And we are continuing with our tefillot. We are on page 141. We're the about 5 lines from the middle of the page. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach. And if you're following in the handout, you can find it. It's not in the handout. You'll find it on the page there. Okay. Ki yamalchu tishelach ula elmei atim lo bechavod. Ki elanu melech ela ata. Baruch ata Adonai. HaMelech bichvodo tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Al kol ma'asav. Amen. And we are now we continue with the traditional melodies once again. Traditional Motown melodies for Chatzi Kaddish 141.
V'yitzkadash Shemei Rabba Shemei Rabba V'yimluch Malchutei Yom Echon Uv'chayei Chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala U'bizman Karev V'yimru Amen V'heshmera b'mevora le'alamot me'almaya Yitbarach ve'yishabach V'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnase V'yitzadar v'yitaleh V'yitalash medekutsha Brichu le'ela Mikol birchata v'shirata Jushbechata v'nechemata Damiran melma v'imru amen Yala la
la Yala la la
V'imru amen
V'imru amen
V'imru amen
V'imru amen
V'imru amen. We are now doing the Amidah. Please rise if you can do so comfortably. The Amidah can be found in the Siddur on page 142. It runs all the way through 148. Please remember on page 146, because it's Purim, we do add the Al HaNisim section. Please feel free to supplement or substitute these words with the words of your heart. However you want to use it, this time is yours. And when you are done, you may be seated.
For those of you without a Siddur at home, there is on page 4 of the handout a poem, Esther's Blessing on Finding Our True Name. You're welcome to use that, even if you're in the synagogue, and to meditate on that poem.
Just take your time. For the rest of us, please join on the bottom of page 148 in Yiyu Leratzon and Oseh Shalom. Yiyu Leratzon imrefi V'gyoni bi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Oseh Shalom bimromav Hu ya'aseh shalom Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel Al kol Israel ve'kol yoshvei Tevel ve'imru amen Oseh shalom bimromav Hu ya'aseh shalom Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel Al kol Israel ve'kol yoshvei Tevel ve'imru amen.
Amen. That's your Koach Tiger King. On Gordy. And we are going to continue our tefillot with concluding this section with the Kaddish Shalem, the full Reader's Kaddish, on page 149. Da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Yet gadal veyet kadash shmei rabba be'alama divra chirute v'yam lich malchute b'chayechon uvayamechon uvchayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala uvihizman kariv v'imru amen yeheba mivarach le'olamo me'omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalem v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'ama v'imru amen tikabel talohot hon uva'ot hon dechol Yisrael kodama vuhon divishmaya v'imru amen yehesh lamarabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'alkol Yisrael v'alkol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Da 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 ya na 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 na. Oseh Shalom ben Ramav. Oh, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. So we're standing in the shadows of Shushan, and we are now going to proceed with our Megillah reading. We are at that point. And we're what becomes of the brokenhearted? It says, I'm finding for a true love. I was looking for a true Megillah. I did not find mine, but I'm grateful to our friends, our sisters and brothers at Beth Shalom for loaning us their Megillah. To Ken and to the board of Beth Shalom. Thank you so much. We'll be reading from your Megillah this evening. There should be on your handout, if you want to see the reading, we will not have the Hebrew in front, beginning with a Yiddish Purim song. That was something that some of us grew up with. We'll be doing the reading. And as we do the reading, after each chapter, I will take a suggestion or two You can type in the chats if you're watching via live stream, but we're going to ask you what in that chapter can be encapsulated by a song title for Motown. So you will have to be paying careful attention to the Megillah reading to come up with which song best makes.
You have a nice set of songs to choose from on that paper.
And you do have over 100 on the handout that I prepared of my favorite Motown songs. Okay, so we are going to proceed. We're in the middle of page 5, and please join me for a good Purim. A good Purim, 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 a good Purim, a good your. Try it with me. A good Purim, 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 a good your. Says doch heint der Yonte Purim, klaget jeden Macharash. Und a soft und besen Hommen, mach von ihm a Hommentasch. A good Purim, 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 a good Purim, a good your. A good Purim, 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 a good Purim. Today's the Purim celebration. Whirl your braggers and make a din. We are rid of wicked Haman. We'll make Hamantash of him. A good Purim, 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 a good Purim, a good your. A good Purim, 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 a good Purim, a good your. So I'm inviting the Tiger King to open the brachot for us and do the opening 5 verses or so in the Hebrew, and then we'll continue, and I'll invite somebody to read for us. Oh.
So particular, man. I don't know why.
I thought you had memorized it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I did memorize it. I just want to mess with you on Purim.
Actually, if you want to hold this up, we're supposed to actually show people that we actually are going to be reading from an. If you stand up that side.
Happy to lend a hand.
We are going to, all on this little piece of paper is the entire Megillah, the ganze Megillah, and with that we're going to, you're one, actually, this way. So
You're right. Single screen.
yeah, see, because you're reading from the beginning. So I'm going to give this to you. Do you want to read it from up there?
I apologize for the maintenance, but as we know, this only happens once a year. Put it on the demo.
There's one on the female. Is there?
I left it out here.
Even on this side?
Yes, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
If you would like to follow along with the blessings in your siddur, if you have one, they can be found on page 194. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen.
ויהי בימי אחשוורוש, הוא אחשוורוש, המולך מהודו ועד כוש, 27 מדינה, בימים ההם כשבט המלך אחשוורוש, על כיסא מלכותו, אשר בשושן הבירה. בשנת 3 למלכו עשה משתה לכל שריו ועבדיו, חיל פרס ומדי הפרטמים ושרי מדינות לפניו, והרותו את עושר כבוד מלכותו ואת יקר תפארת גדולתו ימים רבים 80 ומעט יום ובמאות הימים האלה עשה המלך לכל העם הנמצאים בשושן הבירה ומגדול ועד קטן משתי 7 ימים בחצור פינת ביתן המלך.
We're going to continue with our reading. We're at the bottom of page 5. And Ruthie, would you like to read from the music stand verses 1 through 12 of chapter 1? English is fine. You do not have to translate into Yiddish for me.
This is a tale from the days of Ahasuerus, who ruled 127 provinces stretching from India to Ethiopia. When King King A, thank you, ruled over his realm from the capital Shushan. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast of all his princes for the glory of his realm. This grand celebration lasted 180 days. When the celebration was over, the king made another feast for the people of Shushan, great and small. This 7-day feast took place in the garden court of the king's palace. In the palace, Queen Vashti made a feast for the women. On the 7th day, the king, punching wine, commanded his 7 closest servants, the eunuchs Mehuman, Bezetta, Harvona, Bigta, Avgata, Zaitar, and Karkas, to bring Queen Vashti dressed in her royal crown so that the people could admire her beauty. However, Queen Vashti refused to parade before the drunken male guests. The king was indignant at her refusal.
Thank you, Yasher Koach, and very good old Persian there. I like that on the names. Lovely. Alma, would you like to read the next part on page 6 at the top, chapter 1, 13 through 22? Sure. It is nighttime, so I appreciate the bright orange.
The angry king called a meeting of his experts on Persian law. Karshena, Shatar, Adat, Atmata, Tarnish, Meres, Marsena, and Muchem. Muchem advised him to issue a royal order which can never be changed. Let Vashti never again appear before the king, and let the king choose a new queen to replace her, giving her estate to someone else. When the king's decision is publicized, wives throughout the realm will honor their husbands more and treat them tenderly.
Apparently that was a big problem.
The king and his advisors were pleased with Minuchin's suggestion, and the king acted accordingly, sending orders to every province, each in its own language, directing that husbands were to be masters of their homes.
Sure, we'll go with that. Thank you, Alma. And we are going to the beginning will be Fran, and I think it's at verse 6.
Did you forget who I was?
I wasn't sure with the dress if it was Little Red Riding Hood or Satan. So
I think it was the time.
so here is the Megillah, chapter 2. We'll get to verse 6. It is done to Echatrop, and we can all join in for that.
Friend, do you want to be out or not?
No, I don't think so, because I don't know. You're gonna have to hold it.
Oh, you want me to hold for you?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. אחר הדברים האלה קשור חמת המלך אחשוורוש זכר את ושתי ואת אשר עשתה ואת אשר נגזר עליה בשערותיו יבקשו למלך נערות בתולות טובות מראה V'yafked hamelech pikidim b'chol medinot malchuto v'yikbetzu et kol narei bet kula tovat mar'eh el Shushan habira el beit hanashim el yad hege Saris hamelech shomer hanashim v'naton tamru kehem v'hana ara asher titav b'nei hamelech timloch tachat vashti vayitav hadavar b'nei hamelech vayas kain ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira ushmor Mordechai ben Yair ben Shim'i ben Kish ish Yemeni Asher hogla mirushalayim im hagola Asher hoglata im Yechanya melech Yehuda Asher hagla Nebuchadnezzar melech. Sometime later, King Achashverosh calmed down. He now missed Queen Vashti and thought about her punishment into relation to what she actually did. Isn't that unusual? To appease him, his advisor suggested, let us search for the most beautiful young woman in the realm. Let the king's scouts bring pretty, unmarried young women to the king's harem in Shushan. Haggai, the harem keeper, will beautify them and dress them in royal clothing. The one whom the king chooses will become queen in place of Vashti. The king assented and did accordingly. Now a Jew lived in Shushan named Mordecai, the son of Yair, the son of Yair, the son of Shim'i, the son of Kish, a Benjamin. He was among those exiled by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylonia with King Jeconiah of Judah. Mordecai raised his orphan cousin Esther, or in Hebrew, Hadassah. In fact, he adopted the beautiful Esther as his own. Now, Esther was among the many beautiful young girls brought to the king's harem in Shushan and placed in Haggai's care. She made an excellent impression upon Haggai. Thus, he rushed her beauty treatment and gave her 7 servants and the best quarters in the harem.
So please join me. I need a queen, a nice new queen, to sit beside me on the throne. And if she's very nice indeed, I'll give her half the things I own. I've looked at many maids with black or red or golden hair, but this one shouts and this one pouts, and so for none of these I care. Oh, you are nice, so very nice, sweet Esther, will you be my bride? So here's the throne, and half I own, as 120 lands beside. We continue with chapter 2, 10 through 23 on page 7, and or not. If you are going to read, it's from the music stand.
Way to go, Vashti!
No? Okay. Vashti got my scepter, so you're allowed to come.
Oh, so you are replacing Vashti. Okay. Esther?
Yeah, Esther's replacing Vashti. Thank you.
Esther followed Mordecai's instruction and told no one she was Jewish. Mordecai walked by the women's housing daily to see that Esther was okay. The women prepared her treatment with oil of myrrh and other 12 months. Then, each evening, one maiden would go to the palace for her interview with the king. Vashti as the concubine. King could only see the
Sure, you're doing great.
When Esther, the daughter of Abihail, Mordecai's uncle, was unto the king, nothing but what Haggai, the harem keeper, suggested. That day, the 10th of the month in the 7th year of King Ahasuerus the Great, Esther had her son. Everyone thought she looked stunning. Sure enough, the king connected with and loved Esther. So proud of her head and made her king. The day of the celebration was called Esther's feast. Taxed taxes and gave gifts. continued to follow Mordecai's instructions, nothing about his duty. One day, when Mordecai was sitting at Palace Gate, John and Teresh, royal officers, Esther, who immediately daughters were investigated and confessed, and subsequent details were reported.
Good. So after we sing both, but let's sing Chag Purim on page 7 together first. Please join me. Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol LaYehudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zmirot V'Rikudim. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Bara Ashanim. Again, Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol LaYehudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zmirot V'Rikudim. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Havana Risha, Rash, Rash, Rash. Bara Ashanim. So, anybody here have a song title that goes with chapter 1? Chapter 1, talking about the court, the royal court. Talked about Queen Vashti. Brick house. Are you talking about the palace or about Vashti? Thank you for that. Again, Little Red Riding Hood, or is she Satan? Okay. Anybody else have a song suggestion for chapter 1? I like it, Fran. That was a it's good enough. It's from that era. Yes, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Nice. So Vashti won at R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Great choice. Let's go to. I'm sorry. Was there another song? Oh yeah, great choice. We're at chapter 2. Chapter 2 introduced our hero Mordecai. They started to have a pageant, and of course, it was a little bit more than the pageant. The contestants prepared for a year with makeup. Then they each got their chance for a night with the king, and then Esther won that interview and became queen, and taxes were released. Anybody have a song title?
Joel Gordon says, "Stop in the name of love."
Stop in the name of love, Joel. Yes. Yeah, it's from Dreamgirls, but I would have said because that's all the contestants got with the king. In any event, we are going to, whatever song choices you have, we're going on to chapter 3 at this time, and I'm going to be reading the first 7 verses from the Hebrew. You know, and one thing that I've learned as we get older, we must show humility. And we must come to terms with ourselves. And I actually just got better reading glasses, and I am going to put them on. Okay. Now I can see something. Okay. Achar hadvarim ha'ele gidal hamelech Achashverosh et Haman ben Hamdat hagagi vainasehu vayasem et kiso me'al kol asarim asher ito. V'chol avdei hamelech asher b'shar hamelech korim u'mishtachavim leHaman. Ki chen tziva lo hamelech u'Mordechai lo yikra v'lo yishtachaveh. Vayomeru avdei hamelech asher b'shar hamelech leMordechai madua ata over et mitzvat hamelech vayehi. Vayom v'lo shama alehem vayagidu lahaman le'erot hayamdu divrei Mordechai ki gid lahem asher hu Yehudi ki ein Mordechai koreu mishtachaveh lo vayimalei Haman chema Vayibez be'enav lishloach yad v'Mordechai levado ki gidu lo adam Mordechai v'vakesh Haman. Lashmei kol hayudim asher b'chol malchut Achashverosh am Mordechai b'chodesh harishon hu chodesh Nisan b'shnat shtei mesrei lamelech Achashverosh hipil pur hu hagora lifnei Haman miyom leyom umechodesh lechodesh nemasar hu chodesh Adar. Woo! Okay. Vayihi Choshet Vayior, let there be light. We're going to continue now with chapter 3. We're on page 7 in the and Brenda, would you like to read? And are you able to do it from the music stand? Yeah. Fantastic. So the bottom of page 7. Chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. I actually think that should be warm. Real.
I didn't know that bunnies were eligible to be angels. You changed my whole conception of everything. The more you think about it, you're right.
Hey, sometime later, King Ahasuerus voted Haman, the Hamadai, the prime minister, wanted everyone to come to Haman. Except Mordechai. That's Mordechai. Were afraid to disobey day after day. So refused. And they stirred up Haman. Haman was furious. Mordechai alone refused to go. However, not only him, but all the Jews in the realm as well. During the time for the 12th year, King Ahasuerus' reign, Purim, fought a month or a from its chosen.
Thank you, Yasher Koa. Great job reading through that mass. And I think your tiara fell off. And Mark, do you want to read the next piece? Fantastic. Chapter 3, 8 through 15. We're at the top of page 8 of the handout. And this is a real guards out form from Shushan. And if you believe that, yeah.
There's a group of people scattered throughout the realm whose customs are different from everyone else's and not obey the king's laws. Doesn't make sense to tolerate their presence. Moreover, I will put 10,000 silver talents. They should agree that they be destroyed. The king agreed and gave his signet ring to Agagite and the son of Hamdata, the enemy of the Jews with which order. 13th day of the first month, scribes prepared the decree, as ordered by Haman, to destroy, to slay, and to kill all the Jews, both young and old, including women and children. And one day, on the 13th day of the month of Adar, under their possession. Runners carried the extermination decree to every province within the realm, and then the king and Haman set them he did for the people of Shushan were discombobulated.
And we are going to sing about this wicked, wicked man at this time.
I don't always drink beer, so I drink Sprite.
While Tiger King is leading us, I am going to get some water.
Sure, Rabbi. Water.
Thank you for facing me.
Oh, wicked, wicked man is the name of this song. Oh, unsaid. The wicked, wicked man, and Haman was his name. That was his plan, though they were not to blame, sir. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nasham, Hamintashin. Then Mordecai at the gate said, Oh, Esther, I must fetch her. To save us all, she must be told and be a loyal royal quetcher. Oh, today will Mary, Mary, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nash somehow one more time. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nash somehow
Yasher Koach, and we are going to page 8 with chapter 4, verse 111. Sir, would you like to read? Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bottom page 8. Unfortunately, an illusion, a mirage.
I am a man of faith, and my faith was correct.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, who doesn't like a little color?
Now, when Mordecai knew all that was done, I rent clothes. Fasting, weeping. Mordecai sat outside the palace gate. And informed him. The queen sent. Back. Mordecai to find out. Mordecai.
Oh,
Advising the king in order to get a decree of it. Mordecai gave the pass. Told her to plead with him. Esther sent the pass. Everyone knows that not invitation. Just put it together. I've seen the king in the last month. Then Mordecai relayed that for 1 second to leave. And Esther said, gather together all.
Yakoa. Yashakoa. Great job. And just one to prove to everyone that we do not discriminate. Men are allowed to participate in the synagogue. Okay. We are going to sing You Can Change the World. We're on page 9. Please join me. In a place you may have heard about, in Shushan, as you know. An evil man named Haman said, the Jews have got to go. Now Esther was the Jewish queen, and she knew not where to turn, till Mordecai, her cousin, said, there is something you must learn. Oh, Esther, you can change the world. You can make the world complete. So take the pride you feel inside and never accept defeat. There's an evil plot against us now. And Esther, only you can help. Our fate is in your hands. She said, cousin, do you really think that a difference I can make? A Jewish girl before the king, it could be a big mistake. No, Esther, you can change the world. You can make the world complete. So take the pride you feel inside and never accept defeat. So Esther went before the king, and though she was afraid, she stood up proud and spoke up loud, and her people all were saved. So now we read the Megillah at Purim time each year and learn how God can give us strength to overcome our fear. Remember, you can change the world. You can make the world complete. So take the pride you feel inside and never accept defeat. I think Debbie Friedman sang that with the Marvelettes backing her. I'm not sure, but it don't quite remember the original. But we are going to continue with chapter 5. So we are on page 10, and ma'am, would you like to read? That is to you. Oh.
But I didn't bring mine. But I didn't practice it out of me.
Oh, that'd be lovely. You're welcome to peek ahead and do the last 3 chapters or something. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've done it before, but
No problem.
or the new fashioned way. Okay, so here we go. All of 5?
All of 5.
Okay. Days later, Esther entered the room dressed in her royal robes. When the king saw Esther, he held out his golden scepter and called for her to approach. Esther. Then the king asked her, Queen, what is bothering you? If you ask for half of the realm, it shall be yours, said your majesty.
Whoa.
Come to a banquet which I have prepared. King of Ahasuerus and Haman went to Esther's private banquet. Royally requested that the king come to a second private banquet the very next day. Haman was overjoyed until he ran past it, mortified, and didn't budge, let alone bow down. This infuriated Haman, however, kept his composure, went home, and sent for his friends and his wife. Haman boasted to them about his riches, his many children, and the honors which the king found he was now second to the king. Haman boasted. Queen Esther hosted the king at a private banquet. Tomorrow I will attend yet another private banquet, her and the king. Nothing to me that Jew mortified, sitting in the gate. Then his wife Zeresh, his friend, responded, build a gallows 70 feet high, and in the morning ask and mortified from it. Fully enjoy your banquet. Twice made perfect. And he ordered the gallows.
Boy, you had a lot of that 5-letter name beginning with H that we've tried to. Great. We are going to read from the end of chapter 5 as soon as I can find it. That's really actually an interesting question. Okay. Close. Vayitapei, come on. There you go. Vayavo el beito vayishla vayave et ohavav v'yatzera shishto vaysaper lahem haman ekavodo shro v'ro panav v'yeh kol asher gidalo hamelech v'yet kol v'et asher nisa o alasarim v'avdei hamelech Vayomer Haman Aflo Hevia Esther Hamalka Im Hamelech Elamishtel Shirasata Ki Im Oti Vegam Lemachar Ani Karula Im Hamelech V'chol Zeh Einenu Shoveli V'chol Eight Asher ani ro'et Mordechai Yehudi Yoshev Bishar HaMelech Vatomer Lo Zeresh Ishto V'chol Ohavav Yasu Eitz Gavoach Hamishim Ama Uva Boker Emor LaMelech Vayitlu et Mordechai Alav Uvo Im HaMelech Sameach Vayitav hadavar lifnei Haman Vayas ha'etz. Fantastic. We are now up to chapter 6. We are at the bottom of page 10 in our handout. And Josh, would you like to read? It's at the bottom of page 10 and the top of page 11.
Ahasuerus couldn't sleep. Last, he ordered someone to come and read to him the royal annals. Thus he was reminded how Mordecai had not yet been rewarded. Was wondering about an appropriate reward when as Haman entered, the king asked him, "What shall I do for a man whom I wish to honor?" Haman thought, "I am the most important person in the town." Of course the king wanted. So Haman replied, "For the man whom the king wishes to bring a royal robe with the horn and a royal crown upon his head, and instruct one of your nobles to robe the person honor and come your horse through Shushan, proclaiming, the king honors those who Amen. Hurry, take my royal robes and my horse, exactly as you suggested, to Mordecai the Jew, now sits at the palace gate. So Haman took the apparel and the horse and raised Mordecai and led him through the city, proclaiming, "Thus shall be done, man whom the king likes to honor." Afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, while Haman hurried on morning. Haman recounted to his wife Zeresh and all that had befallen him. They responded, "Mordecai is of Jewish seed and shall not prevail against him." All before him. As they were talking, the king's chamberlain or Haman, that Esther had prepared.
Yashikov, thank you.
I do find it interesting. Likes to relax by putting work into it.
Yeah. No workaholic issues there. Great, thank you. We are going to page 11. We're in the middle of Mordecai's procession, after which we got to do some review of the chapters, putting them to the tunes of Motown songs, so titles of Motown songs. So please join me for Mordecai's procession. Something's coming down the street. Come out, let's see. The trumpets call, the drummers beat. come out and see. Thus shall be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Well, who's that riding mounted high? Hurry out, let's see. Haman leading Mordecai, come out and see. Thus shall be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Haman, Haman, sing it loud, we'll sing with you. He's the man of whom we're proud, so come and sing. Thus shall be done to the man whom the king delighteth. Is the man whom the king delighteth to honor. We continue with the 7th chapter. And Lois, would you like to read? You're welcome. Top of the next page. You want to finish up, Lois? Hi. Asher Koach. We're going to read the last couple verses of chapter 7. Very interesting. We have in the first verse, for those of you that read, two notes that only appear one other time in the Tanakh. One is called a Karnei Farah, and one is called Yareach Ben Yomo. And they only appear, that I know of, outside of this place in Parshat Maseh. So, which we're a long ways away from. So if I don't get it right, the chances are many of you will not know, since you probably have not heard these words, these notes in a while. Maybe give me a second to find the place. And I think we're about here. Vayomer Chavona Achad Mina Sarisim Lifnei HaMelech Gam Hinei Ha'etz Asher Asa Haman LeMordechai Asher Sher Diber Tov Al HaMelech Omed B'Veit Haman Gavoha Chamishim Ama Vayomer HaMelech to Vayomer HaMelech to Luhu Alav Vayitlu et Haman. Al ha'etz asher hichin leMordechai v'chamat HaMelech shachacha. Okay, we are going to take a minute to go to page 12 of our handout. We're going to sing a couple verses of Shushu Shushan. So get your shushoos ready.
All right. Oh, Haman was a mighty, mighty bluffing Shushan long ago. He ordered Mordechai to take his derby off and Shushan long ago. So we sing, so we sing, so we sing and raise a robe. For Haman he was swinging while Mordechai was singing in Shushan long ago. Queen Esther took control of the whole scene in Shushan long ago. Bravely risking her life, she went in to see the king in Shushan long ago. So we sing, so we sing, so we sing. For him and he was swinging while Mordechai was singing in Shushan long ago.
All of them. Okay. We are going to go back and get some song titles here. Chapter 3, we left off, and that's where that man with the H was promoted instead of Mordecai, top position. And Mordecai refused to bow down to him for taking the position he felt he deserved. And that's when that H man also got upset that one single person wasn't bowing down to him, so decided to destroy Mordecai and all the Jews, pitched it to King Ahasuerus, who was having trouble maintaining his colored water intake, and signed a decree and turned it over. Anybody have a song title from the Motown that fits that chapter or any part of it? Yeah. That was chapter 3.
Oh, okay, then I'm out of it. So we have Love Hangover.
Love Hangover.
Yes.
The word hang is in there. That's good.
And then there's what? They keep hanging on.
You keep me hanging on. Nice. Okay. Very clever. I like it. We're in chapter 4. Mordecai rent his clothes and acted like he was in mourning to draw attention. He finally had to send a message to Queen Esther. Queen Esther thought he was crazy, gave him a fresh pair of clothes to dress in, finally got the message, then got the copy of the decree, and she ends up taking over. And for the first time, no longer is she the passive woman who is taking commands from Mordecai, but she gives commands to Mordecai and the people, and they all do as she commanded. And once Esther goes from passive Esther to take charge of her own life, then good things happen for the Jews. So that anybody have a song title for that? I heard it through the grapevine. Yes, she got the message through the grapevine. Nice. Anybody else? My Girl. Nice. I just want to celebrate. Nice. Rare Earth. What? The Tracks of My Tears. Nice one. Love it. Chapter 5. We're moving on. Esther went to the dressing room, went to the royal room. The king did hold out the golden scepter. She approached, had a meal ready, and said, I'm inviting you to a meal that's already ready in the next room. It's fabulous. You and Haman, that man have got to come. They came, and King says, what is it you want? I'll give you up to half the kingdom. She says, why don't you just come to another meal that I'll prepare tomorrow that's even nicer? And they say yes. That H-man goes home and says, I have everything I want in the world, a good wife, kids, friends, job, fame, status, power. There's just one little tiddly-widdly thing, and that is that Jew person. Whenever I see him, it drives me crazy. And of course, in a compassionate response, his wife and friends say, easy, build a gallows, have him hung, go talk to the king about it, which he then does get the gallows erected. Anybody have a song title? Yes, Josh. Do You Love Me? Okay. Yeah. And maybe, that do you love me, build me a gallows, right?
How about,
For that Mordecai.
How about signed, sealed, delivered?
Signed, sealed, delivered. Nice. That's a good one. That's what I want. Money. That's what I want. Yes, the king agreed because of the money. Fantastic. Chapter 6. King Ahasuerus could not sleep. He orders the annals to be read and decides that he never really did reward Mordecai for saving his life. After all, that's the kind of thing we always forget. And so they had him on a horse led by the H-man who actually devised that he'd be led on a horse in royal robes on royal steed. And then at that point, the Zeresh and friends say, look, you're not going to beat this guy if he's really a good Jew. And of course, he won't be. Song title, Esther. Dancing in the streets. We're taking it to the streets. Nice. Dancing in the streets. Martha and the Vandellas. Anybody else? Cloud 9. Yes. After that, Mordecai must have been on cloud 9. Chapter 7 we just read. We arrived at Esther's banquet, and he says, who is this evil schemer? It's the H person right in the room. Everybody is floored. No one expected that one. That means that Esther is actually a Jew herself. And then Harvonah, also one of the eunuchs, so like women, also low on the social totem pole, but he becomes a hero by telling about Haman's scheme to hang Mordecai, and he's a Zachor Latov, remembered for good. And once the H-man was hanged, the king's wrath was assuaged. Any song title?
Please, Mr. Postman.
Too proud to beg. No, ain't too proud to beg. Nice. And please, Mr. Postman. Yeah, tell me what's going on over in that H-man's house. Yes. I know I'm losing you. Nice. That's a great one. Okay, we are going to continue with our reading. We are in chapter 8, and you have not read. Would you like to read? Sitting next to Lois, I do not know your name. Would you like to read? It's okay. Tiger King, would you like to read chapter 8?
King Ahasuerus gave Haman's estate to Esther and his signet ring to Mordecai. Esther came before the king once again and tearfully begged the king to reverse the decree to exterminate the Jewish people. The king, however, couldn't legally undo the law. However, he issued a new law allowing the Jews to defend themselves and to destroy any who would, in light of events, attempt to attack and rob the Jews. The king's scribes were called on the 23rd day of Sivan, 3rd month, and they wrote all that Mordecai commanded them in the name of King Ahasuerus. With the royal seal on it, the new decree was dispatched by horse to every province of the realm, each in its own language. And the decree was posted throughout Shushan, the capital. Mordecai left the king in royal apparel, and as he walked, the city of Shushan shouted and was glad. Suddenly there was light and joy and gladness and honor for all the Jews of the Persian Empire. And moreover, in every province, in every city, the Jews had gladness and joy, feasting and celebration.
Beautiful. We're going to continue. Top of page 13. Utsu Eitzah. Your decrees don't bother us. We will overcome. Utsu Eitzah betufar.
Dabru davar velo yakum. Utsu Eitzah betufar. Dabru davar velo yakum. Immanuel. Utsu Eitzah betufar. Dabru davar velo yakum. Ki Immanuel. Utsu Eitzah betufar. Dabru davar velo yakum. Emmanuel, Emmanuel.
We're going to continue with chapter 9. The date of the king's decrees arrived. On the 13th of Adar, the 12th month, The king's decree, the Jews braced themselves, and the entire Persian leadership assisted the Jews as Mordecai's star continued to rise. Baruch Hashem. The Jews defeated all their foes. Everywhere the Jews were victorious, but they refused to take any spoils. In Shushan, they killed 500 enemies, and also Haman's 10 sons. They were hanged the next day, the 14th of Dar, and on the 15th, they rested. And we are going to do verses 5 through 10 in the Hebrew. Your hearing will improve when you have colored water. So we are going to read that, and as you're supposed to get the 10 names of the sons of that man who has the first initial H all in one breath. I do not know if I'll be able to do it tonight, but that is the idea. Interesting. Vayaku ayudim b'chol oivehem makachera v'herag v'abdam vayasu b'sonehem kirtzonam uv'shushan habira haragu hayudim b'beit chamesh me'ot ish v'yed parshadata v'yed alfon v'yed aspata v'yed parata v'yed aldaya v'yed aridata v'yed parmashta v'yed arisai v'yed arida v'yed v'yzata seret v'nei haman. Yeah. Hayudim haragu uvabiza lo shalchu et yadam. Great, we are going to continue, and we're on 9:16 through 32, and I will just continue. Mordecai recorded all the events and sent letters to all the Jews near and far, to all the provinces of the king, urging them to celebrate the 14th and 15th days, one or the other, whatever, of Adar every year as a holiday. It was on those historic days that the Jews were saved from destruction, and it was that month when their sorrow changed to joy. Their mourning to happiness, making them days of feasting and joy, and of exchanging gifts of food, mishloach manot, yum yum, and giving tzedakah to the poor. The Jews adopted Mordecai's suggestion. These days are all called Purim, after the name of the Purim, the lots, that had been cast by Haman for ill, but turned into Tova, into good. Thus the Jews ordained that in each generation they would remember and give these days of Purim and keep alive the memory of these events, as Queen Esther and Mordecai enjoined upon them. And Esther's commandment confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the royal records. And we are going to celebrate by singing Ani Purim.
אני פורים שמח ומבדח, הלא רק פעם בשנה אבוא להתארח. לה 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 לה. רבי פורים אמור נא לי מדוע לא יכול פורים פעמיים בשבוע. לה 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 La 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 la.
Nice. In chapter 10, traditionally, or at least in many communities, it is read by the entire congregation. So we're going to read it together in English, then I'll conclude it in Hebrew. Please join me. King Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea. His mighty deeds and the full account of Mordecai's greatness and how the king honored him are all recorded in history of the kings of Media and Persia. For Mordecai the Jew was second in power to King Ahasuerus, revered by the Jews and respected and liked by the multitude of his fellow citizens. He constantly worked for the welfare of his people and his fellow Persians, always speaking words of goodwill and peace to all. And now in Hebrew, we're going to conclude the Megillah. Vayasam Acheirosh mas al haaretz v'yeyam v'chol maseh tokpo ugvurato farashat gulat Mordechai asher gidlu hamelech halohem ketuvim al sefer divrei hayamim Lemelech Madayu Faras. Ki Mordechai Yudim Nishna Lamelech Hashverosh V'Gadola Yehudi V'Gadola Yudim V'Ratzui L'Ro V'Chav Dorei Shov Lamo V'Dover Shalom L'Chol Zaro. Page 14 in the handout from the Piyuch. We always have to end with this. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Shuatam Hayita Lanetzak V'Tikvatam Bechol Dravador, Lahodi Yashekol Kovecha, Lo Yevo Shuva Lo Yikalmu. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Arur Hamach, Asher B'Kesh La'avdi, Baruch Mordechai HaYehudi, Arur Razeresh, Eshet Mafchidi, Baruch HaEsther Ba'adi. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Arorim Kol Rashayim, Beruchim Kol HaTzadikim, V'gam Charvon HaZachur Latov, V'gam Charvon HaZachur Latov. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. Shoshana Jacob, Tzala V'Samecha, Bir Otam Yachad, Techelet Mordechai. We got to do the closing bracha, which I'll do at this time. Hopefully I can find it quickly. Oops, maybe I can find it quickly. 494. 194. Todah Rabbah. Thank you. That's very nice. It's the bat call. It's like a voice from heaven. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam haravet rivenu v'adananinu v'anokem et nikmatenu v'mishalem gamolach olavei nafshenu v'nifra lanu mitzareinu. Baruch atah Adonai Anifra lamo Yisrael mikol tzarehem ha'el ha'moshiach. So we are going to continue now. We're on page 150. Please rise if you can do so comfortably for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol la'tekedu la'leyotzeh bereshi shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot v'lo samanu Kamishbechot Shelo Sam Kenu Kahem Vigor Aleinu Gechol Hamonim Ba'anachnu Korim Mishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKodesh HaShvar. So the Shema Yosef Aretz Shavur Kabashma. Akatuv b'Toratach Adonai Mloch l'lamved v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. anyone observing a yard site, anyone in mourning, anyone with a need or desire to recite Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Tome, please remain standing and turn to page 151 and join me as we recite together Kaddish Tome, Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divarach hir'uteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael v'agalau v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach li'alam ol alamei alamaya. Yet barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal Shemei dekucha brichu. Va'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush pechata v'nechamata da'amiran ve'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom v'romav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel. Amen. May the ultimate source of peace and comfort grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us all say, Amen. Bruchati, thank you. Just a few quick announcements before we have our concluding hymn. I don't know why it's a concluding hymn and not a concluding her. Please do not attack the messenger, okay? We are inclusive here. Okay. We have services tomorrow morning for Purim once again. Shacharit begins at 10 a.m. You can join us via our live stream or come in person to be part of it. Either way, we hope that you enjoy Purim, and we'd be delighted if you enjoyed it with us. We have services at HaYam this Shabbat, Friday night here in the sanctuary at 8 o'clock p.m. or via live stream, and Saturday morning 10 a.m. or via whether in person or live stream. We also, just a couple of dates, a couple things to notice. You will be getting a special Pesach edition of the Migdalor coming out around March 23rd, so you'll get it in plenty of time ahead of Pesach. It will be a Pesach-only edition with everything you need to know for Pesach, about our Seder, our services, and about koshering. Everything you want to know will be in that special bulletin. Also on Wednesday, April 6th, Rabbi Joshua Hoffman will be speaking to us via Zoom on the importance of peoplehood in enhancing spirituality. Why do we belong to a movement? Why do we belong to Klal Yisrael? How does that help us in our relationships in the world, etc.? So it will be very, very interesting. And I hope you'll join us that Wednesday, April 6th at 7 p.m. It is free, but you must register via Eventbrite. You can find all the info on our website, www.congregationamhayam.com. It's on the handouts that you have this evening. Also, Friday, April 15th, the first night of Passover, we'll be having a community Seder. We hope that you'll consider joining with us for that first night. Beginning at 5:30 p.m. Just a quick other point, I will be speaking via Zoom this Thursday at Valley Outreach Synagogue on inclusion in Judaism, and anybody who wishes is welcome to join me. We'll see if we can get that link to you for those that might be interested. In any event, we are going to conclude on page 15 of our handout. At the bottom of the page, after all, Esther and Mordecai won, saved our people. We're here to prove it, to show that we did survive and we will survive against all schemes and machinations. Whatever's going on with anti-Semitism, and there's quite a bit of it, both in our country and abroad, there's no question about it. We know that we've got this. We know that we are going to survive this. We will be together, one people, one heart. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Chai. Am Yisrael. Yisrael. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai.
Israel Chai.
Chai.
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai. Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai. Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai.
Hey!
Am Yisrael Chai.
Hey!
Am Yisrael,
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai. Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai. Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai.
Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu, Hod Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. The Jewish people yet live. Baruch Hashem, Baruch HaShechina. Great to see you. Happy Purim, Chag Purim Sameach, and have a wonderful Purim day. And for those of you that are here live, we have refreshments over there for you. Don't tell the people at home. It's our little secret, okay? But those of